Well, hi y'all, Dan here. In my last video, I outlined my approach to undertake this adventure to share the sights and history of the Cherokee Trail. Many of the stories in my videos will be based on the work of Jack and Pat Fletcher, and as well as the efforts of the Friends of the Cherokee Trail in Kansas. It was Bob and Linda that gave me so many articles and maps and directions that I wouldn't have known where to even start without them. And Brian Stuckey showed me how he uses dowsing to identify the boundaries and the direction of the trail. And Kyle Good invited me to tour the old stone house way station that's now his home. Mike Thompson is much more than a fellow veteran. This old Marine, he lives at the crossroads of the historic Indian trails that include the old Santa Fe and the Little Osage and the Buffalo River crossing of the Cherokee Trail. All of these are key to me offering you this video documentary. This project's focused on the 142 miles of the Cherokee Trail from the Oklahoma border near Tyro, Kansas, and then traveling northwest through the Chautauqua Hills and then the Flint Hills to intersect with the Santa Fe Trail about 10 miles west of Goesel. So what am I doing in Tahlequah, Oklahoma? It would be unthinkable, disrespectful, and even incomplete if I ignored where this all began. It was in 1839 when the Cherokee were displaced from their homelands in Georgia and the Carolinas, Tennessee, and Alabama. And they were pushed west to Indian Territory. History knows that displacement as the Trail of Tears. They settled here in Oklahoma and established their capital at Tahlequah. Judge Elijah Hicks, he led his group on this grueling journey where 54 of his 858 people died in the trek. But rather than looking back, Hicks wrote, "Our race have retreated 1,000 miles from their stately mountains, leaving their noble rivers behind, until we come here, and trust here we shall finally stand to perform the grand work of our national education." So by 1849, Tahlequah was established as a permanent city. There was a brick courthouse, businesses. The Fort Smith Herald reported that Tahlequah is a quiet and orderly place. 4 stores, 1 saddler's shop, a tailor's shop, 3 blacksmiths, a shoemaker. And 3 taverns. This is a superior farming and stock raising country. It's gratifying to see nearly everybody going to church on Sabbath mornings. When news of California gold was verified here in the Cherokee Nation, they decided to send a company to search for gold. The Cherokee Advocate published their intent. There's a company forming in Tahlequah, Cherokee Nation, for California, with the design of joining the company now forming in Fort Smith, which company will leave the 1st of April. The regulations are the necessary equipments required by said company. All young men in the nation who may wish to try their fortunes in the gold regions of California have now the opportunity. Any persons wishing further information with regard to the tramp can obtain it by applying to the undersigned, Tahlequah, Cherokee Nation, James S. Van, Daniel M. Gunter. On February the 3rd, 1849, a national meeting resolved this. Such citizens of the Cherokee Nation as contemplated going to California met this day in the courthouse. A committee of 5 were appointed to draft a preamble and resolutions. After a short absence, they presented the following. whereas the intelligence which has reached us of the California gold mines is corroborated by official reports which render it certain that there is sufficient for all who wish to avail themselves of the opportunity of improving their fortunes. And whereas it is imperatively necessary that persons going should form themselves into a company and remain united through the journey in order to repel attacks, to afford mutual succor, and ensure success of the enterprise. Therefore, we, a portion of the Cherokee people, designing to avail ourselves of the inducements held out for bettering our conditions by emigrating thither, and wishing to organize ourselves into a company to proceed in such a manner as shall ensure our safety, our comfort, and success, do resolve that it would be neither safe nor expedient to proceed with less than 100 able-bodied, efficient men, well armed with rifle gun, a butcher knife, and sufficient ammunition to last through the journey, say not less than 3 pounds of powder and 9 pounds of lead, that each man shall furnish provisions sufficient to support him during the journey, not less than 100 pounds of bacon, 200 pounds of flour, 25 pounds of salt, and 2 pounds of soap, that each wagon shall not be drawn by less than 1 yoke of cattle or mules, that each wagon be furnished with 6 gallons of tar, and not less than 1 axe, 1 handsaw, 1 drawing knife, and 1 set of necessary augers and chisels. That the company rendezvous by the 1st day of April at Richard's Drew's on the south side of the Arkansas River, where all necessary officers are to be elected. That the Secretary tender an invitation to those in neighboring states and in the nation who wish to go to California to join the company. I gotta say, this is a special place. Just going through the museum. This had been the courthouse for many years. Look at this beautiful magnolia tree here. This entire park, little gazebo, and then the old courthouse, which is now the museum. I stopped in at the Saline Courthouse Museum, and Crystal, who works there, told me that here in Salina, school now rests on where the salt mines had once been, and this is where they had rendezvoused. Well, invitations were sent out to wagon trains in Springdale, Arkansas, and Springfield, Missouri. On April the 21st, 1849, they met northwest of Tahlequah to begin their adventure. The Great or Grand Saline was known for its salt production. Major Hitchcock reported in 1841 that the Grand Saline so much spoken of, made about 15 bushels of salt a day, and 3 times that quantity could be made. The importance of this place grew during the gold rush, and a post office was established here in June of 1849. This was the beginning of the passage west to California. From here, trains rode north to Kansas before turning northwest, and here is the beginning of the Cherokee Trail.